So this is an unboxing video for the Aoyue SMD rework station. And let's see, what is the model number? I forgot. It's a INT 852A++. And this one has full digital controls on it. So let's see what we got. I got an owner's manual, and let's see. Tells you what we get. Main station with the hot air gun, air nozzles, 4 of them, holder, vacuum suction pen, IC popper, which is basically a shrimp fork, power cord, and instruction manual. I've seen the poppers before, the IC poppers. They're basically just a shrimp fork that they include with these things. So, and a link to some soldering products, srasolder.com. That's the company that makes this Aoyue, and their address. So that's nice to have such information. Before operating the unit, uncoil the vacuum pump pickup tubing because this air input is for the hot air gun. Okay, so let's remember to do that, shall we? And let's see, here are the tips, and these are, this looks like some kind of little stand apparatus or something to that effect, if you can see that. We'll figure that out as we go. Oh, and here are the shrimp forks, these cute little guys. So you can stab your shrimps with them. And they even give you, oh boy, a spare. How about this? They give you a spare one, but not with the handle, just a little forky tip. Actually, it's not a spare, it's an extra size, so they couldn't just give you another one with a handle. They had to give you the other size one. You actually have to unscrew it and screw it on. Well, what can you expect from China? I'm sure some people aren't going to be happy with my thoughts on China, but hey. Never said this was going to be a politically correct unboxing. Well, we're not going to go into that. They do provide quality stuff when they want to. And this is one of the better products, actually. So, as for the numbers on these, I'm not really too concerned. I'm just going to take them all out of their little plastic baggies, and then I'll either find one big plastic baggie for them all, or one of my little drawers. So we've got some pretty decent sizes. Nothing too fancy, all tubular in shape. So what we'll do is order some more. They have actual rectangular shapes for the rectangular ICs, things of that nature. So let's put these over here for the time being, along with my forks. Let's see what we got over here. And here it is. So what else is in the box here? Just more formed cardboard, and that's it. That's everything that's in the box. So take the box aside for now, in case we'll need something from it later. Let's take a look at what we got. See how well they package this little gadget. Nicely packed. actually, so far. So let's take a look at the back here. What does it say? Move shipping screw marked red found at the bottom of the station. Turning it on failure may damage the station. Yes, we've read about this before, or you've probably seen YouTube videos to this. This has to come out. Otherwise you could damage the unit. And then leave bad complaints on Amazon, as I've seen some of you do. Saying, it doesn't have any suction. Well, you didn't remove the transit screw, stupid. So, this is a fairly lengthy, snaky object. At least lengthy enough for me, I hope. Let's see. So, plastic bags around everything. That means quality. Not really. It just means that's how they packed it. And twist ties around everything, of course. Pretty basic stuff. So, yes, I read the warning. I will heed it. I'll slap this on here for now. Put this in here. Make sure the power switch is off for the time being. See this now. So, is this supposed to sit like that? Let's take a look at the other things we have here. Let's suppose we have a tip on here, and it goes into the cradle. Oh, it goes into the cradle like so. There's a little bit of tension on here. I've seen in the past that sometimes the handle will have a reed switch, and there'll be a magnetic base, and that will activate the reed switch and tell the unit that, you know, the holder's in the cradle, and then start a cool down process. But it looks like here, if you look right here, and you hear it clicking, there's a mechanical switch. So it looks like that, whatever little reed switch they had in there, they've replaced that with a mechanical switch. So that works. As long as this little handle doesn't break. Let's take a closer look at this handle here. So it's basically, yeah, you can see there's a little wire from the switch up here. No doubt that's what that's used for. And it's on a little metal bracket. Hopefully the camera can see it. Just screw to the side of the unit. Okay. And then this is about 3 feet worth of tubing, and no doubt wiring for the hot air. And there's the coil in there. You can see. Or can you? If you can see that, there is a heater element inside there. So, I think the first thing I'm going to try is going to be relatively small components. I'm going to put this little tube on here, secure it down, put that for later. Let's take a look in here. I want to be careful, actually. I don't want to puncture any tubing on my brand new unit. So we'll be careful with our razor. There's a little bit of a tape right here. There we go. And this is undoubtedly the vacuum pickup device. Wedged in there pretty good. Okay. Oh, sorry. I just knocked the tripod again. Not shaking still, are you? Okay. So let's undo this. Now this could have been packed better. There's kinks in here all along this tubing from them mashing it together and tying it with the twist tie, although they do seem to unkink pretty easily. I would say that's nothing real permanent, but you can sort of see there, see where it's kind of flat, that's where the kink was. I just popped it out. Another one there. A few of them along the way. So this is the vacuum pickup tube. And I'm assuming that's probably what this is. Yeah. Okay. So, as most good things come from these places, you have no idea what some things are until you need them. So that's apparently what's going on here. This goes on here, and you can see this is the suction cup for the ICs. They give you a few other smaller ones. Hopefully you can see here. These are a bit smaller than the big one, and then they give you a very, very small one over here. I guess for some very, very small ICs. And underneath here, I had already gone ahead and unscrewed the transit bolt, which looks like this. They put some red goop on it. It's screwed into the middle here. I just unscrewed it, pulled it out, and that's where I'm at. So I was contemplating whether or not I should dismantle this just on the off chance that something was not done correctly, and I still think I'm going to do that. So let's go ahead and pull this apart real quick. Shouldn't take too long. Off of the handle, just unplugs real easy. That's nice. It's actually, so let's take a look inside here. Actually looks pretty nicely made. Minimum amount of circuitry, it seems. I hope that this little transformer can handle it all. That's what I'm hoping. That looks awfully small, and it's 10 watts. This little transformer is rated for 10 watts. So how is that going to run the heater? It's not. The heater undoubtedly is going to be run off of the AC power coming in. So undoubtedly it's wired up for 110. At least that's what they said. And I think the heater element itself determines the actual operating voltage. You can get a heater element, I remember reading now that you can get a heater element for 110 AC or 220. So that's probably why, because they don't have a big enough transformer inside of here to actually run the heater element. They're running it off of the AC line, which to me, not really too psyched about that, to be honest with you. And the weight of this thing is very light also, given the fact that the transformer is so small. The air pump itself does not really have a whole lot of weight to it either. So now, there's a little instruction here. It says, important notice, before operating this unit, uncoil vacuum pickup tubing because this is the air input for the hot air gun. So that was just when I uncoiled this, and you noticed that it was stuck. This acts as the input to input air for the hot air flow. So there's undoubtedly a two-gun approach to this. This acts as input air for this, and it's also a vacuum suction. So I'll actually read the manual and see exactly what the deal is with how to properly operate that. Well, I mean, this is mounted, kind of flimsy, but it's on plastic standoffs, and it's far enough away from the back panel so it's not touching. And this is a digital control panel up here. The digital control panel. Everything seems to be pretty good there. There is a little bit of a kink in the tubing right here, though. Can't say I'm too keen about that. We'll try it out for real. Okay, so got it plugged in, everything's checked. I'm gonna turn it on, see what happens. Get off and off. Now, this here is the F button, and they say to press it. So, okay. So it's coming up to temperature. Let's bring up the air pressure a little bit. As I said, it's not a good idea to heat up if the air flow is too low. You can always bring it down later. So right now, bring up the temperature to around, let's say 400. 450 centigrade. Okay. So if we take this off, it's going up, and you can see it. So it's coming up to heat very quickly. It's already at 400 centigrade. And even with it in the cradle, it's doing that. It's coming up to temperature, even though it says L. So it's already at temperature. So I think L just indicates that it's in the cradle. And our airflow is here. So, okay. Let's take it back down. Bring the temperature down. Or better yet, let's take this button to the off position. Aha! That's what I thought would happen. So it's increasing the airflow. This is all the way up, and it's increasing the airflow over the gun. I can hear it getting louder, and sure enough, the temperature is coming down. So that's a pretty good indication that it's doing what you want it to do. When you hit the off button, it's not shutting off entirely. It's taking the temperature down here first, before it turns off, which is a good thing. I don't know if all the other SMD rework stations will do that. Because the last thing you want to do is have all the power just go out while this is still hot. This is when that thing's way up in temperature there. If there's no airflow going over it, it's gonna get too hot in here and possibly melt the handle. So let's see where this comes down to before it shuts off. We're already at 148 centigrade. It's still running. Three, 118. I was reading in the manual here how to change the settings. It's a little wonky, but it's not too terrible, not too difficult from what it seems. Okay, so 80 centigrade, and that's exactly where it said it would go to shut off. So that's working. Okay, so let's turn it off now. And they said to get into the functions, you have to press the F button in, so the function button has to be on, and then you press and hold these two temperature buttons as you're turning on the unit. So you'll see Aoyue, and then yes, we're in the selection mode. So button C4, so they're saying C1, C2, C3, C4. This is C4. That selects the various items in the selection menu. So selection menu items are hot air gun sleep timer. Number 2 is temperature scale adjustment. Presumably AC line frequency, and hot gun digital offset. So temperature scale, that would probably be centigrade to Fahrenheit. And hot air gun sleep timer. So let's take a look at the sleep timer. Press C3. Yeah, so okay, so these are the settings. This is the time. That's presumably 5 minutes, going up to 60 minutes or off. So you can have this go into sleep timer mode for 60 minutes after you've put this handset into the cradle. It'll take 60 minutes before it'll actually go into that automatic sleep timer. That's too long for me. I'm just going to leave it off for now, and let's assume that when I'm done taking a component out of this circuit board, which I'll show you later, if I put this back in the cradle, I want this thing to cool down immediately. For starters, I'm done working with it, and then secondly, I don't need this thing hogging up all the electricity for another hour. So let's go into other settings then. So let's hold these two down, the F button's pressed, select function 2, scroll through it pretty fast if you're not careful. So we're on 2, temperature scale adjustment. So let's press C3 and set Fahrenheit or centigrade. Okay, so we have Fahrenheit, and then if we turn it off, presumably that will be now set to Fahrenheit. So let's see. Nope, it is not. I did something wrong. Let's try this again. So let's go to 2. Fahrenheit. And let's confirm it. Actually, just turn it on. See if we can. Okay, so that's what I had to do. I had to turn the function button from on to off. It's in the off mode now, which is why it's cooling down, and it'll eventually shut off. Presumably when this gets to, well, it was 80 centigrade before, so that should be 100, what, 100 something? What is the Fahrenheit equivalent? I forget. I would think 120. Well, we'll see what it says. Okay, so what was it, 190 something there? Okay. Fine. So, alright, let's go into AC line frequency selection. So let's press this on. This goes in. You would think this should be lit. And it looks like it should be lit, but it's not. There may be something wrong with that. No biggie, I'll go into that later. So 3 is AC line frequency. So, so it's set by default for 50 hertz. And there's 60 hertz. So let's turn this off, turn that master switch off. So that should be set to 60 hertz instead of 50. Okay, and 4 is hot air gun digital offset. So let's turn this on again. 4, go to C3. Okay, so our digital offset. So if the gun, for whatever reason, if I had an infrared temperature probe or some other type of temperature probe to confirm exactly what the temperature coming out of this is, and if it were off, high or low, we could adjust for that here. Since I don't know what it is, I'm going to leave it at 0. And then turn this off. Turn the main switch off. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back in to the settings and adjust the sleep timer. So that's item number 1. So that's where we are. And again, it defaults to the 6 for some reason. So, actually, let's just set it to 5. Off. Turn it on. So, the gun is heating up. So we're in Fahrenheit mode. Kick this up to 700. So now it senses it's in the cradle, but since the sleep timer is still at 5 minutes, I'm going to set the phone for a 5-minute timer. And we'll see. Okay, so right here at T-minus 44 seconds, so I must have been off on my time a little bit. It's sleep timer mode is kicked in, and it's knocking it down. You can see, so it's giving me just dashes here, and occasionally flashing the actual temperature. So it's bringing the temperature down and the air volume's all the way up. So I kind of like this. This is nice. So it has some nice automatic features. Either when you hit it off, hit the function key off, and it'll say off, and it'll rapidly cool down the gun, or in this 5-minute timer mode, it'll go ahead and knock the, kick the air volume up, cool down the gun, and shut itself off. Well, we hope. I'm assuming it will. So this is kind of a nice thing to have with these digital controls. I'm not so sure the other ones with the little dials and knobs, if it had the sleep timer mode function. Maybe it did, in which case I apologize, but digital readouts are always a little nicer. You get presumably an accurate reading, or at least something you can memorize and go with, and even if the temperature is off a little bit, you can say, well, okay, maybe 450 or 430 or 480 is where I need to be to get an effective desoldering. So it's coming down, 192. I think it was 170 something before when it kicked off. Okay, so yeah, it said 179. So it shut itself off now, and so that's it. That part of it works. Okay, so what I've done is attached a extender tube onto my DSLR here. So that's why it's got a very near field focus looking effect going on. And what I'm going to do is attempt, I'm going to try desoldering this guy, and then one of these, and well, you can't see it, but probably one of these bad boys over here. One of these. So let's get this frame back in position. Okay. So I'm setting the air temperature to about 750, which I'm not experienced, so this may be a little hot. We'll see. Get it flowing right away. Try this other approach here. Okay, that's off. Sorry if I'm moving the board around on you. Not my intention. Could try securing it down with some tape. Let's give that a shot. See if we can do this live, folks. Let me find my tape. Securing a little painter's tape to the circuit board. Okay, let's see if we can try this again. Get one of these big gnarly diodes right here. This is a big boy. Hit both sides evenly. And there it goes. Wow, that came off easy. I'd have been there with a long time with a soldering iron trying to do that. This is all lead-free solder, by the way. If any of you know what lead-free solder is like, when you try to desolder anything, it takes a long time. So, let's see what we can do with this IC chip. Okay, I can see it flowing, and there it is. Got that little IC chip right off. Look at that. So, let's give a shot to one of these little chips over here. These little chip components. My airflow seems awfully high. I'm going to lower it a little bit. And lowering the airflow should be okay. So, not that you can see right now, but what I'm telling you is the tip of the gun is staying at 750. It lowered itself down. Oh my goodness. That might be a little too hot for, that came off right quick. Let's lower the temperature a little bit. Take it down to 700. And wait for the gun to actually read 700 on the readout. Okay, and it's already there, so, oops, sorry. I hope I'm not getting my hand in the way of everything when I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm checking the viewfinder as I do this, folks, so sorry. Alright, let's try this other component. These are just some little chip components. Yeah, no sweat. Right off, look at that. You know what a bugger these things are to get off, don't you? Anyone who's ever tried to do this. Well, let's see about putting it back on, perhaps. Let's get those pads heated up and see about putting this back in. That's always a challenge. Never as easy getting something back on as removing it. Although, well, if I had didn't have the camera in the way and a little more time to finesse it, I could get it in there better. But did manage to get it back in, and it's in there good. I'm sure if I did a circuit test on it, it would be just fine. Alright. What do you say we try that big old VGA? Probably not going to work too well, but let's give it a shot anyhow. If I can focus in on it. We're going to crank the temperature up to at least, well, let's go back to 750, 770. We're going to try 770 degrees. Let's see if we can't somehow get this VGA off. Perhaps I should use the shrimp fork for that. Let's see if I can find my shrimp fork. So, this little guy, the little shrimp forky, I don't know. Tempted to go use my tweezers anyhow. But let's try it. We're gonna heat the living heck out of this thing. I'm just going to keep circulating around on here and see if there's at any point I see movement. If I see it move at all, I'll know I'm in the right direction. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, I could do what I said not to do, and that's to blow the heat right on the center of this bad boy. See what happens. Probably gonna fry the shit out of this thing anyhow. Whatever. This board is just for the fun of pulling things off of. Or at least trying to pull things off. This is an awfully big chip to try and do this task on. Let's crank up the airflow. Maybe that'll get the job done. Get her done, as Larry the cable guy would say. I'm at 72, by the way, 072 is what the airflow gauge is saying. There's no movement. Crank it up all the way. Up to 100, well 99. Goes up to 99. So this is maximum airflow. And honestly, I don't expect this to really work because, again, I don't have the right tip for this. If I had, you know, a BGA flow chip, BGA nozzle for this thing, then I'm sure it would probably work, but in this case I don't think it's going to do the job. Let's really get close in on it. Let's also try upping the temperature. Do an insane 870 temperature on this. It maxes out at about 890, so probably not a good idea. Probably using ungodly amounts of electricity attempting this. Oh, look at that! Look at this! I did get that edge to lift up, didn't I? Okay, folks, I apologize. The DSLR ran out of time. I only have 12 minutes of record time each time, so I did get it off. I didn't know that the camera had stopped recording, so here's the chip. And that's the side that came off. And here's the circuit board side. So, yeah, it did pull it off. Not the neatest job, but had I had the right flow tip for this type of chip, then it probably would have done a much better job. Okay, so in conclusion, this Aoyue 852A++ Pro with the digital controls and digital readouts, I think it works pretty good. I was able to get off this chip. Pretty impressive. along with one of these little guys. This is a memory chip that was on the same board. Little diode, surface mount diode. Another little IC chip. All these came off in just a few seconds using this. This chip would have come off far easier if I had the right flow tip that you can get for these, which I'll probably be getting. But just to prove the point that it is capable of doing it, you just had to have the temperature up to 850 degrees and maximum airflow to get that off. So, but yeah, it does the job, and it's quick to get up to temperature, and I like it. So, you know, what can I say? I'm not going to bash it just because it's from China. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than the Hakko, although I'm sure I would probably be a little happier with a Hakko. I also don't have $1,500 to blow on one of them. This was $132 through Amazon, so you do the math. So anyway, that's my review, my unboxing, and overall setup and use of this Aoyue airflow. So, thumbs up Aoyue. So far, I like it. So this is Joe from iRepair Electronics, and thanks for watching.